Hey, how's it going? This is Matt Blackburn. This might be my second live or third, I'm not sure. I was going to shoot this video and edit it, but lately my time is extremely limited, so I wanted to just shoot a live, get it all done at once. I think I'm up to 50 people asking me about this, how to make this amino acid elixir. What's up, Michael? So I have the recipe here. It's a lot of ingredients. I'm going to do my best to be fairly fast with this because it takes me about 15-20 minutes to make it without filming and talking about each ingredient. This has been profound for me in combination with the Amino Raw protocol. Just really next level. If you haven't heard of Amino Raw, definitely look it up. Do Amino Raw vegan and listen to the interview with Marcus Rothkranz. That's a great introduction, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, 0.1%. If you go to amintaeliteathlete.com, you donate and you can get his written material. And don't believe what I'm saying. Look into it. Autophagy, glycation, longevity. These are all really important things. So let me just flip this around, show you guys what I have going on here. So my space is pretty limited in this cabin here, but these are basically the ingredients. So we have spirulina, soy protein acids. So we have phenylalanine, glutamine, citrulline, proline, histidine. Oh, there's a double proline. Some of these I've stocked up on. Beta-Alanine, Glycine, BCAAs. This is the number one. Lysine, Arginine. That's it. So basically, we're looking at, flip this around. We're looking at 12 amino acids. 6 essential, 6 non-essential. And, if you're in a hurry, if you don't have time to do this, then look into the master amino pattern formula. There's like 20 companies that private label that. The only thing with that is it's only 8 essential. And there's an intelligence here. Why don't we have homocysteine in here? Why don't we have methionine in here? Well, those are high in meat, and those are what actually lower lifespan. There's an intelligence to these ingredients. There's a synergy, especially in combination with aerobic training in the rising, resistance training at night, and then this intermittent fasting period. I've noticed, especially in the spiritual community, that a lot of people fast and then they don't rebuild. That's very common. And they might do, spirulina or, something that they think they're getting all of their amino acids. Amino acids are not something to mess around with. They're more necessary than we think, especially in our current circumstances with NPK and acid rain and all the stuff we have going on. Glycation is through the roof, and I'll be talking about these terms because I'll have a lot of time with you guys as I make this. So usually what I do, and by the way, here's the recipe. I'll be posting it below with all the links of where I get all of this stuff. I don't know if you could read that. And that is pretty awesome setup to mix it. So you can see add 300 ml of soy milk. Soy, oh my gosh. I'll get into that. And mechanical blending apparatus. Love the wording. Multimineral, multivitamin, 12 amino acids, 1 to 3 grams. And then here are all of the ingredients I just showed you. I actually don't have the cacao here. I don't really like cacao in there, but that, I usually end my dinner with chocolate anyway. So the way I do it, I get one of these jars, jumping into it. I'm just going to start making it. One of these guys, one of these gallon jars, stick it on there, Have a small cutting board. Never use metal ever. Bamboo. Porcelain bowl. Try to get away from plastic. And a scale. This is battery operated. So this is what I do. I start off with the amino acids and I measure them all. If you're not familiar with a scale, I wish I had a camera person here. So here we go. Set it on top, and then if you never used a scale, zero it out. And we're gonna measure out 3 grams of each amino acid. Let me see if I can set you up here. That's not gonna work. I need a little tripod. Cool, there we go. Okay, so I start off with branch chain amino acids and BCAAs. So amino acids I've been studying for years, just to back up. I was raw vegan for 3 years. I've tried it all. I ate raw meat, I ate raw liver, bison. That's what I actually broke my veganism with, was a bison burger. I do not currently eat flesh or blood, and I never see myself doing that ever again with what I know. Karmically, spiritually, emotionally, energetically, it's all not the best thing ever for our consciousness. Drinking some red rooibos, I can never say it right, and honeybush tea with some peppermint stevia from Omica. This is the lifestyle. You're getting your phytonutrients, polyphenols, minerals. Well, hopefully it's the right minerals. You're just drinking tea all day long. That's basically the Amin-Ra protocol. I'm not guzzling it to throw off your electrolytes. I believe Amin-Ra says he consumes an average of 2 to 3 liters of fluids a day. I probably get up to a gallon because of what I know that we dehydrate with every breath. So I like to drink more water than usual. I just make sure that I'm dousing my water, filling it with bicarbonates, which are the best form of electrolytes on this plane. So BCAAs are a mix of leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So take a scoop out. I zeroed out the scale, and I'm making enough. So this is the thing. If you're not skilled with math, just make enough for 30 days. That's what I do. And I'm making this batch just for myself for ease. So what's 3 grams a day? 3 times 30. So we're gonna measure this out. Actually, I do 90 grams of each, just to have, let's see, 92. And if I go a little over, let me switch my camera over. The more the better. You got to make this easy. You don't want to be making this every week. Make a huge batch so it lasts you a month or more. There we go, 92. So this is going to last me 30 days, right? At 3 grams a serving. So from here, flip this around, bear with me here. Super old school setup. So from here, I just actually pour this into this very carefully. Boom. And that's the key ingredient, is branch chain amino acids. The whole point of this protocol is to induce autophagy, which is cellular recycling. So that's actually where proteins are recycled, and they're salvaged, and they're basically reborn. And your system's eating itself. It's catabolizing fat, it's catabolizing protein, but we don't want to be catabolizing those things all the time. So the whole intelligence with this protocol is that at the 23-hour mark, it's a daily fast of 23 hours, only eating 1 hour a day. This is not for everyone. I'm not recommending it at all. I'm just sharing what I do. And if you have a fasting window of 4 to 6 hours, that's still pretty short. Let's say 2 to 3 hours, that would be even better. And just make sure you don't have any eating disorder or anything crazy. You're meditating, you're emotionally stable, you've cut people out of your life that aren't supportive or that are parasites. So your stress level's low. And by the way, I won't be answering questions in this live. I'll do another one with a Q&A. But if I answered questions, this would be 3 hours long. So I got to stay on track here. You can already hear me, going off onto tangents. So branched chain amino acids are a way so that your body doesn't think it's starving. Because if your body thinks it's starving every day, that's not going to be sustainable. Sustainability, I'm going to be doing this for years, most likely. I'm going to do at least a year. I'll probably be on this for the rest of my life, potentially. So that's why it's enjoyable. That's why I'm not eating a lot of fruits and vegetables in that 1 hour, because there's so much fiber and water in those. People breaking their fast with berries or a salad. If it's a handful, okay, it's cool. If it's the whole meal, let's see how long you last on this protocol. It probably won't be long, because you're not going to have that satiation. There's nothing wrong with sprouted bread. There's nothing wrong with beans and rice. These things are actually beneficial. And in Amin Ra's written material, he goes deep into that. So don't just listen to what I have to say on it. Read the material. Really delve into it. Look into glycation. So again, I hit 92 grams. I'm adding L-glutamine. And this is actually perfect order. I didn't even plan it this way. L-glutamine preserves BCAAs in your system. That is to say that when you consume leucine, isoleucine, and valine, the main one being leucine, which is the key ingredient in branched chain amino acids, these are part of the 8 essential amino acids. So I went to community college, I took a nutrition class, Super Matrix, they were recommending Gatorade goo and insanity like that. But I was super nerding out on amino acids, and it was really fun for me. I had to memorize them all for a test. And memorizing in school is an absolute waste of your brain, because it doesn't do anything for you, and normally you're just memorizing garbage. But to memorize the amino acids is very rewarding, and I think it's a good thing to do. If you notice on this package, it says BCAA 2 to 1 to 1. They make ones that are more expensive where that first number is higher, and you'll notice the price jumps up double, triple. That's because leucine is the primary amino, that's the most anabolic amino acid, meaning that's what's going to activate AMPK. And AMPK is a pathway that's activated by protein, and we want to activate that selectively. So if you break your fast in the rising with, I don't know, bone broth, like a lot of people are doing in the paleo community, or putting collagen in their coffee, they're breaking their fast first thing, and that's activating AMPK, which basically lowers lifespan. We want to activate these switches at the right times, selectively, in a controlled setting. So this protocol is designed to have autophagy, human growth hormone increasing as you go. And then in that 1 hour, you're actually rebuilding and you're shutting off autophagy for a little bit. But these amino acids help you to get back into autophagy faster. And that's the intelligence. Again, experience this. Don't believe me. Try it out. Most importantly, read his material. Most importantly, don't try to change it. That's a really important point I want to make. Don't read it and then say, I'm going to upgrade it. Who do you think you are? Honestly, try it before you upgrade it. This guy's put years into this. To just think you're going to change it and upgrade it in an instant when this guy's been doing it for 15 years, that's a lot of hubris, and there's a lot of that in the health community. I've had to quiet my ego for this. Say, oh wow, I'm going to follow it to a T, and let's see what happens. For those of you that just follow me on YouTube, go to my Instagram and see my spacesuits evolution. It's been real. It's been fast. And this protocol works for sure. Also, look at my friend Spencer Mack. I'll post his channel below. He's been a huge guide in this journey for me. So I added BCAAs and glutamine. Glutamine is going to help increase the preservation of the BCAAs after you ingest them. Again, a deep synergy. L-citrulline. This actually is a really fascinating amino acid. A lot of athletes use it because it improves vascularity. It gives you the pump. It actually converts to arginine, and arginine is the precursor to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. Again, just added 3 grams of that. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator. Unfortunately, that's what's increased with non-native EMF. That is to say that when you're in Wi-Fi, your nitric oxide is abnormally high. There are other things in our synthetic world that increase nitric oxide. So we kind of have, you know, horny zombies walking around a lot of the time. So this is L-Phenylalanine. And just so you know, amino acids have, what's that, L dash? That's actually the position of the amino acid. So there's actually an R dash too. And the L form is the one that's absorbable. So this is phenylalanine. And, you know, I'm not an expert on all of these amino acids, but I could just share, you know, I'm a student, always know that. Even if I sound, you know, amped up and aggressive, I'm a student, I'm learning. So phenylalanine, that's involved in neurotransmitters. That's actually what's called aromatic amino acid, which means that it responds to ultraviolet light. So phenylalanine, tryptophan, should put this over here, take a little drink. So good. By the way, stevia enhances autophagy too. Stevia is a superfood. Stevia is full of micronutrients. So phenylalanine is going to support the brain. And that's really, really key, is brain support during this whole thing. Because you can lose your mind fasting if you're not supporting it, and it's constantly being drained, living in a synthetic world. Yes, we do live in a synthetic world. Do not discount that. I often get, should I take this, Matt? I got a question the other day about nicotinamide riboside. Matt, it's synthetic. Should I take it? Dude, we live in a synthetic world. Accept it. Red pill. We live in a synthetic world. When the fruits and vegetables, even organic, yeah, organic NPK, where the only difference is the nitrogen, that's synthetic. So don't tell me you're on a Whole30 organic diet and it's all natural. Getting calcified, guys. Calcifying your pineal gland. Worst of all. Not only your tissues. So this is histidine. And histidine, a lot of these, I don't know too much about this one. I'm still researching. So much to learn about amino acids. I've been really nerding out. You know, super excited, childlike wonder researching these because there's so many details with all of them. Amino acids are not just for muscles, know that. Amino acids are for buffering acids, which we're swimming in. I got a few questions or comments on my Instagram today. Matt, if you take too much bicarbonate, this and this and this. We're tanked in bicarbonate, guys. Are you showering in reverse osmosis water? No, you're not, because it'd be crazy expensive. So we have to mitigate. And how do you mitigate? Bicarbonate ion, baking soda. We have to be smart. We're dealing with a lot right now. So this is what it looks like. And I just pour it in like this. You can see. There we go. This funnel is super helpful. So again, what I was saying was amino acids are not just for the brain, the muscles. They're for acid detoxification. They're for actually reducing and or reversing glycation. Look into carnosine. Just YouTube Gabriel Cousins carnosine and watch the videos on carnosine alone. You guys don't want wrinkles? You want to age and look, you know, maintain your beauty and your skin? Amino acids. What's in carnosine? It's in meat. We don't want to eat flesh and drink blood because that's not the best thing for humanity right now. It's not sustainable. It's not healthy. It's not the right thing to do. But where are you getting it? Where are you getting your carnitine, carne asada, meat, carnitine, carnosine, creatine? If you're not eating meat, you're deficient in those. Just know that. So supplement. It's not expensive, especially if you're just going to do one creatine monohydrate. That's the way to go. So this is Proline, and I'm going to add, again, 90 grams of all these. So getting 3 grams each. You can do 2 grams each. I think going all the way for 3 is the way to do it. Amino acids are the precursor to neurotransmitters. So tryptophan to serotonin to melatonin. Tyrosine to dopamine. Well, there's intermediary steps that uses pantothenic acid, that uses copper, uses a bunch of B vitamins to actually get from tyrosine to dopamine. So you could be getting sun in your eyes. You could be sun gazing, grounded, naked, whatever. If you're deficient in tyrosine, how are you making dopamine? So do you see how this all works? You need to actually have the precursors to make the brain chemicals to feel good and to actually access these deeper states of consciousness. The brain needs to work. The brain needs to work to connect to your higher self. It's been my experience. This is L-arginine. And nitric oxide is not just for the pump, as I was talking about earlier, and for vascularity and looking good. Nitric oxide is actually a neurotransmitter. So if you mitigate the non-native EMF in different ways and you get your nitric oxide on point, then your brain works better because guess what? We have a ton of neurotransmitters. It's not just, and neurotransmitters, what are those? They relay signals throughout the nervous system and throughout the brain, chemical messengers. And we don't just have dopamine, serotonin, and just these few that you hear about. There are over 30, I've even heard over 100 neurotransmitters. And guess what? Living in a synthetic matrix world, gonna throw off the neurotransmitters hard. That's where we get brain fog. It's where we get fatigue. So I'm adding in L-Lysine. This is the HCl form. That's all they had available. Hydrochloric acid bound to lysine, which is good because eating my one meal, I want to have some HCl to help until my system adjusts to eating at the same time every day. So here's the other question I'll talk about for a minute. Circadian timing. So I get a lot of questions, Matt, why don't you eat your one meal at the start of the day? Why at night? Well, as it turns out, eating at the same time every day is more important than the light aspect. I'm not saying don't sun gaze. I'm not saying don't look towards the sun every rising to switch on your pituitary gland. I'm just saying limit your artificial light at night and really focus on eating at the same time every day. My bowel movements on point more than ever. You know, I eat my meal. I'm going to the toilet within 30 minutes to an hour of eating. I used to have extreme constipation, especially when I was raw vegan. Bloating, gassy. You know, my coworkers, like, Matt, you gotta, slow down on eating. If you have bloating, gas, constipation, your intestinal tract is all screwed up, take a break from eating. That's really the key. I've noticed a huge alleviation in just my digestion. Everything's more balanced because I'm eating less. So this is glycine, and this is actually an amino acid that's high in bone broth, which I used to make myself. Now I think that's, you know, not the best thing for the animals. It's not the best thing for the planet. It's not the best thing for us. And it shortens lifespan. Methionine, cysteine, these are amino acids that do lower lifespan. They just do. Those are high in animal products. So ghee is good. Raw goat's milk is good. Just megadose it. So, or megadose it for a time if you're extremely B vitamin deficient. That's what I did. So adding that in there. This is beta-Alanine. We're getting about halfway through the recipe here. There was one thing I wanted to talk about. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So the sourcing of these amino acids. You know, Matt, they're synthetic. You know, are you turning cyborg, transhumanist? What's going on? This is a synthetic lifestyle. This isn't natural. Guys, what makes these powders? Yeast, bacteria. That's what produces our amino acids. We don't need to create karmic cycles of eating flesh from animals, because yes, when you put a bolt through their head, when you slit their throat, you have to process that energy, that fear, that adrenaline, that emotion. You have to process that. Why do you think everyone's so screwed up emotionally? Why do you think we're fighting with each other? Well, electrolyte imbalance, severe magnesium deficiency, DHA deficiency, trace mineral deficiency, neurotransmitter imbalance, circadian rhythms off, showering in chloramine, which lowers serotonin, bathing in non-native EMFs 24/7. All of these things combine to make us literally crazy. So we gotta do the work. That's what I'm saying. So let's see here. Now I'm adding creatine monohydrate. This is my favorite ingredient. Very affordable too. And so, as the recipe states here, 5 grams. Let me see. It's been a long day. Whoa. I really need a camera person. Who wants to be my camera person? Let me flip this around here. Give me 2 seconds here, just doing a little math. You guys wouldn't believe how much I have going on with Symbiotica. Shervine and I have been working so hard on this, and it's hard to find time to make videos, which is why I was, you know, gonna shoot one today and spend 2 hours editing it. And I said, you know what, screw it, let's just do it live. Don't have to edit it. Thanks, Vansel. You know, this is the last week in my cabin, so it's in somewhere in Southern California in the forest. So 150 grams, that's what I'm going to add of many of these ingredients. Oh, Andrew called me out. Just know I have a bow and arrow if you show up. I know how to use it. Okay, so 64. So we're going up to 150. Yeah, the discount for Omica products is PMSACY. That's for 10% off. So this is micronized creatine monohydrate. I do know quite a bit about this. So creatine is for adenosine triphosphate production. If you're deficient in creatine, your mitochondria actually cannot make energy effectively. This is why vegans and vegetarians crash and hit the wall long term. It's because they're extremely creatine deficient. Creatine is what's in a steak. So there are good aspects to a steak and there are bad aspects. Cholesterol, if you still think that's bad for you, you're under the spell. Ansel Keys started that myth because he cherry-picked data. Cholesterol is a superfood, it's needed. Our liver makes it, which is what a lot of vegans say. But if, you know, your nervous system is hammered, then you might need more of it. So that's where goat ghee comes in, goat products. Find a local farm, have your own goats, have your own chickens. Don't kill them, feed them superfoods, give them the best life ever. And our nutrition, there's B vitamins in there, cholesterol, all these things, not as bad as we've been taught. To me, vegetarian is the way to go. If you're into longevity, more of a vegan, especially getting away from cow products and towards goat products, is the way to go. So this is, so just to finish on creatine, adenosine triphosphate production, it actually increases the water that goes into cells. So it makes you hold more water weight, yes. If you combine it with sunlight, that's very powerful. This is something you could just meditate on. The alchemy of sunlight when it hits your blood plasma, there's something very powerful that happens. It energizes the hemoglobin. It enhances electron chain transport. It's actually delivering electrons on the back of every photon direct to your mitochondria, because our power plants of the cell not only emit light, but they absorb light. And they need docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, in their wall to function properly, to actually push protons and electrons across and not leak a ton of protons, because leaking protons is what causes a lot of issues. Free radicals. We have natural reactive oxygen species, we have natural antioxidant production, and then there's a whole synthetic world for both of those. So look into creatine, it's very deep. This is Hawaiian Spirulina. Hawaiian Spirulina is the only spirulina I would use. And this is from the Health Ranger website. I'll post that below. So again, we're adding 150 grams. Spirulina is very intelligently added to this. There's hardcore studies on how spirulina helps with diabetes, how spirulina helps with fat burning, and it's packed with protein and very unique compounds in it. Gamma linoleic acid, GLA. I love algae. I love spirulina. I love the vibration of it, and actually makes it taste good too. All right, hopefully I don't run out of room in here. So you can see just from what I added already, there are all the aminos, there's the spirulina. Now this one's easy, bromelain. Bromelain is an enzyme found in papaya, which actually increases the absorption of protein. So you could take multiple digestive enzymes, you could take protease and throw it in here, or you could megadose bromelain. Bromelain, you know, biofilms, Lyme disease, chronic sinusitis, mucus, enzymes. Whew. If you want to go deep, take enzymes while you're fasting. Take probiotics while you're fasting. Super powerful. You're just eating all this stuff. So I just took the scooper out. What I do, actually there's a little pack in here. So this is a very powerful protein digesting enzyme. So this is going to increase the absorption massively of all of this. And one serving is a half scoop. There's 122 servings. This is kind of more the better thing, so I'm just going to dump it all. Whoops. Just be careful with the dust. You know what's good? You could snort some of these powders. A lot of people actually put this in a nebulizer. My friend Spencer Mack does that. It's really good. I've been dealing with some sinus stuff, just digging deep. So that's a good thing to do. I just dumped the whole thing in there. Woo! Strong. This is monk fruit. Now this is not, you know, necessary, but it does make it taste good. These amino acids are super gnarly. Get pure monk fruit. Don't get it mixed with erythritol. There's all these different brands. You know, one's generally not better than the other as long as it's pure. If it's around 30 bucks, you know you're on the right track. I'm just going to dump the whole thing in. And this is also known as Luhan Guo monk fruit. So it's a 0 carb, 0 calorie, 0 sugar sweetener, similar to stevia. And it's just going to add a really nice flavor to this, so that, you know, if you're out and about, as has happened to me very recently, you're at a birthday, family dinner, and all you have is water, and you don't have soy milk or hemp milk or oat milk or rice milk and you have to mix it with water in a shaker bottle, tastes freaking delicious. That's what those are for. Otherwise, you know, be hardcore and don't put sweeteners in. But remember, this, to be sustainable, this has to be enjoyable. It has to taste good and feel good. Oh, it's like this tea. So good. It's like a meal to me. Now, here we go for the controversy. Soy protein. Oh, you're gonna get man boobs. It's gonna turn into a woman. Woman, what's going on? You know, you're gonna throw off your hormones, phytoestrogens, so much. If you guys go to my YouTube channel, and I think it's in my favorites, I have a lecture, it's about 40 minutes long, of misconceptions about soy. So look at who's bad-mouthing soy. It's the paleo community, right? And the paleo community, you know, carnivore diet, eating a lot of meat, you know, concerned about hormonal balance while they're showering in tap water. They're eating cows, which are eating soy, most likely. Even the pasture-raised eggs, you know, that big brand you see in Vaughn's in the black carton, pasture-raised eggs, they supplement their feed. Grass-fed, smash-fed, whatever. They supplement the animals. What do they supplement with? Soy. Okay, so 93% of the soy is genetically modified. 98% of that is fed to cattle. Wow. Chicken, cow, getting a ton of soy. And guess what? The phytoestrogens in soy, also called isoflavones, they actually bind to estrogen receptors and prevent xenoestrogens, fake estrogens, receipt paper, from actually screwing up your hormones. Yes, soy has a hormonal protective effect. Soy has the same amino acid profile as meat. Soy has anti-glycation properties. Soy has anti-aging properties. Soy is a superfood. Look into the research. Again, don't believe me, look into it. So, you know, how it's grown, the source, that's another story. And that's something that we need to improve. Monocropping is not cool. There's a way to do it in balance with nature. So 154 grams, just went a little over there. So soy protein isolate, this is not the same as whole food soy. If you're gonna consume soy, ideally make it fermented, make it tempeh, natto, miso, you know, seitan. These are all good forms of soy. If sprouted is awesome, even though just the regular soy, just make it organic, still good, delicious. I've noticed a huge boost in my brain power actually since reintroducing it. For a while I thought it was the devil. For a while I thought it was making me a woman, you know, changing my gender with the hormonal effect. It's actually the exact opposite. Super beneficial for the hormones. And this isolate form, it's missing a lot of, you know, it's not a whole food form, but we're not doing it for that. You know, that's your meal. So you basically break the fast with this shake and then you eat your one meal. So we're getting to the top here. And let me show you what I do. Let's see, let me find a little, bear with me here. Let me find a little top to this. Is this it? That'll do. All right. So this is just a 1 gallon glass jar. Put a lid on it. And this is how I shake it. Super easy to make. Don't need to stir it or anything. You just put it in a jar like this and shake it around. And it's a workout too. It doubles as a workout. There we go. Let that settle because there's going to be a dust that was kicked up. So soy, look into it. Don't believe me. This is psyllium husks. And a lot of people know about this for digestion. It's my understanding, and I might be wrong with this, the purpose of this in this shake is to actually slow the absorption of what you're consuming. So the intelligence of this protocol is that you're actually slowing, like with eating beans, you're slowing the absorption of sugar. When you slow the absorption of things, it's not a bad thing. That gives your system an easier time. Actually, doesn't spike your blood glucose levels. That's really the key with longevity, is not spiking your insulin all the time. And when we eat our one meal, if you're doing this protocol, your system actually has all these things in place. Yes, you're spiking insulin through the roof and you're activating all of these, you know, AMPK and all of that, but there's a synergy with all these ingredients to where you jump back into autophagy super quick, where that process of glycation, which is sugar binding to proteins, is inhibited in many different ways. A lot of these amino acids have that effect. So adding psyllium husk here. Oh no, there we go. Barely have enough room here. And now this is stevia. And so I'm trying to remember how much I added last time. I could just ballpark it. The monk fruit is the only thing that I added that isn't in the recipe. Let me see, brewer's yeast. Shoot, I don't have that one. Somewhere down here. Let's see here. Kind of like a mad scientist lab in here. I thought I had brewer's yeast somewhere. Let me see if I could find it. I think it might be. Okay. Anyway, I'll have to add that to it later and order some more. The key too is to actually stay on all of the ingredients to make sure you have everything ready. So maybe make a list when you run low on something. There's a lot of planning ahead with this lifestyle. So yeah, brewer's yeast, 5 grams. And again, I'll post the recipe below. Let's see. All right, so do 100, let's see. Just a quick math here, 1 sec. Right, okay. That's what I thought it was. It helps to write all this stuff down. You guys are actually resting on top of my Omega Organics filter. It's pretty funny. So 3 grams is all it takes of stevia. So I'm going to put that in there. And stevia, if you didn't know, has a ton of health benefits. It benefits actually the blood glucose. It helps to balance that. Full of micronutrients. Okay. All right, dump that in there. Awesome. Yeah, so stick to the recipe for the most part. That's pretty much it. And then how I measure it out, actually that's an important part. To show you guys that part. These guys are awesome. So 1 serving, from what I've found, is this filled to the top. And you can get these at Ace Hardware, different stores. And I just have these ready up in my cabinet. So I, you know, section it out. So I just grab this at the end of the day. I use my NutriBullet, dump it in, fill it up about halfway with soy milk, oat milk, whatever kind of milk you want. I found that flax milk is freaking delicious. Unsweetened flax milk. Ideally, you make your own milk to put in there. I'm just extremely limited on space and time right now, but I'll soon have a bigger kitchen where I could start making my own nut milks. Almond milk would be excellent, like sprouted almond milk. A lot of this is sustainability. Nothing wrong with buying stuff at the store. Nothing wrong with having other people do the work for you, you know, to save time. If you try to do it all, again, you're going to burn out. Sustainability, sustainability, sustainability. What's, you know, fast for 1 week out of the year or fast daily? What's more sustainable, right? Go on a water fast, you know, for, you know, 2 days a month, or fast every day. To me, it's been consistency. 7 minutes of meditation in the morning, 7 minutes at night. A little bit of exercise every day. I don't care if it's 10, 15 minutes, twice a day. Consistency, consistency. That's really important. Get that. Don't make these huge goals that are unattainable. Just start and make it small so that you can keep doing it over and over again every day. That's what makes the difference. It's not these huge cleanses. How about we're cleansing every day? That's why I've fallen in love with this protocol. And there's a lot of stuff that we can't mitigate in the food because of acid rain, NPK, aerosol geoengineering spraying, watering with tap water, glyphosate being airborne, nanoparticulate smart dust being sprayed over our heads. The food is contaminated to the deepest level. Know that rewatch The Matrix. And when they're sitting at the table and Neo consumes that meal on the Nebuchadnezzar for the first time, that's this. Well, actually, I take that back. That's this plus these. So this is part of the protocol, and I'll post this below. This is Amin-Ra's stuff. I did not make this up, and I'm just sharing it with you in a way that's digestible because I've had 50 people ask me. So as I said, pour it in here, and then I use a multi-mineral and a multivitamin. Very, very key. There's no possible way to get in all of your nutrition in 1 hour. It's just not possible. So you have to supplement. And the key supplements for me have been Symbiotica DHA, Shrivinanized product, which, by the way, increases muscle protein synthesis by 50%. It actually increases that stimulus of AMPK by 50%. That's huge. And that synergizes with all of this very powerfully. So I'll take 4 of these capsules, multi-mineral, without copper and iron. That's key, because most people are toxic in those, and taking those will make situations where you never, ever, ever, ever want to supplement iron. Look into Morley Robbins. We all have iron overload. Acid rain liberates aluminum and iron super fast, super unnaturally high, more than we've ever had. It's not an issue of being deficient or toxic in these minerals. It's an issue of not actually utilizing them. They're floating around, they're unbound. Our system can't make use of the minerals. So amino acid bound minerals are key. That's what these are. This is Thorn Biomin 2. So I just break 4 of these in the elixir. I just got a question on here. Isn't spirulina high in iron? Yes, they usually feed it iron chelate. I grew my own spirulina for a little bit. What's the antidote to iron? Shilajit. So a lot of this is mitigation. A lot of this is surrendering to us not being able to block these things. I am never going to stop consuming spirulina. I know that, because the benefits are insanely good. So if I get a little bit of iron from it, no big deal. Fulvic acid, chelates, and complexes, all monovalent and divalent atoms, meaning iron. And it actually makes iron bioavailable. So that's that. And I consume Shilajit every day. I've been consuming it in my coffee primarily. And yeah, the caffeine actually, in my experience, drives it straight to the brain. So to finish on this thought, this is the multivitamin I use. You want to get a whole food multivitamin. And this is a little safer to take than a multi-mineral supplement for sure. And this is Pure Synergy multivitamin. This company is awesome. Everything is, whew. I've actually felt a difference since taking both of these. I must have been deficient in something. Yes, bee products, royal jelly, bee bread, raw honey and bee pollen fermented. Gonna get a lot of nutrients, but let's be real. Let's be real. We're getting drained. DHA magnesium is getting drained. The burn rate is faster than ever before. This is why I emphasize my product so much. Symbiotica DHA, which was formerly Mitolife. So critical. Now we added astaxanthin to it, which there's a synergy. So critical to get these nutrients in. If all you supplemented were DHA, magnesium, shilajit, and amino acids, like in this shake, wow. Try it. See how you feel. It's been just a game changer for me, and I keep going deeper, and I'm super humbled, super grateful, super honored to be able to be on this path and share with you all and go all the way, really, because apathy is really not cool. And it used to make me angry. I used to make fun of people. And you know what I mean? You call them muggles. You could call them zombies. Go to, a big chain like Costco, see people pushing the cart, way overweight. Well, we don't know what they're going through. They have emotional traumas stacked on top of brain damage, stacked on top of mind control programming from the television that their spouse maybe has playing every single night, which I don't care if you're just listening to it, that's actually getting into your subconscious and implanting ideas. And the mind is more open to these ideas when it's damaged, when you're chronically dopamine and serotonin deficient, when there's DHA deficiency, when there's magnesium deficiency. This is brain damage, quite literal retardation. Literal retardation. It's deep. So let's turn on our brains. Let's actually be aware of what's going on. We are being factory farmed. Look at apartment complexes. Look at a factory farm. Put them side by side. They're the same thing. Humans are being farmed for their energy. The Matrix was a documentary. Everything is contaminated. Again, don't believe me. It's taken me a long time. I've been on this health journey for nearly a decade now. And it's intense right now, what we're dealing with. But we have all of the solutions. I'm going to continue to share them. We're going to make a Symbiotica channel where I'll go deeper. And yeah, just implement what I've been sharing. And again, don't jump into this protocol. That's my disclaimer. If you have an eating disorder, if you're chronically stressed, if your adrenals are shot, if you don't meditate, please don't do this. Now, if you've been intermittent fasting for years, you drink the best water ever, which is the key to drink Omega Organics 12-stage water, then this is doable. But if your water's not on point and all of those things are going on, please do not do this. But if you want to shorten your eating window, all of those things are legit, you're on it, shorten your eating window and just make it shorter and shorter and find what works for you. This 1 hour that I've been on for a month is, done wonders for my brain and energy levels. My clarity has never been on point, and most importantly, my spiritual growth. Whether you want to call it Kundalini rising, crawling up the spine, spiraling up, or whatever, my spiritual growth, my connection to spirit, higher self, my family, it's been profound. It's really beyond words. And actually, if I wasn't meditating, I'd probably be going crazy right now because it's keeping me balanced. Meditation is the crux, the key, what makes all of this work. I would say the two most important things of this protocol are, number one, meditation consistently to mitigate stress, because this protocol utilizes caffeine. So if you're chronically stressed and you introduce caffeine, that's an issue. If you're meditating, by the way, this is so fascinating, and I'll just rant on the protocol for a little bit till I have to go. There's a lot of interlocking factors with this protocol that work together, and it's enhancing autophagy, mitigating glycation, introducing polyphenols, curcumin, resveratrol, different substances, caffeine, that actually stimulate autophagy. It's doing aerobics. I do a whole body vibration plate for 15 minutes. That's super advanced. You don't have to do that. Just jump on a rebounder, buy one on Craigslist, search mini trampoline on Craigslist. My first one was $10. It lasted me a year. Then jump up and down on that for 20 minutes at the start of the day, the beginning of the day, and the rising. After you meditate and after you get sunlight in your naked eyes for 5 minutes. This is my whole protocol. I'll make a whole video on this. I wake up, I give thanks for the day, I cuddle with my kitty, I vortex some water, look at my water video, I drop a molecular hydrogen tablet in there, I get hydrated first, 10 ppm, molecular hydrogen gas. Not necessary, just drink water if you want to go that route. And if you can, put some electrolytes in there, because minerals do not break your fast. Go outside, keep your phone on do not disturb, timer function, 5 minutes. This is what I do. Look below the sun and take breaths, get grounded, get barefoot, and just look below the sun. And I feel a cracking in my head like clockwork. And I feel heart expansion as well. And then I set my timer for 7 minutes, and I find a quiet spot, private, and I do a standing 7-minute meditation. No breathing techniques. I'm not thinking about nada, nothing. I just set the timer and stand there. And when the timer goes off, I'm done. And what I find is usually near the end, I'll have a and that's when you know the meditation was good. And the slower the meditation feels, the more you needed it. And the faster it feels, the more your mind was already on point. This has been my experience. So I'm not into meditation techniques. I'm not into transcendental or breath work. That's all cool. But what I found, when I get my butt in cold water in my cold tub, I have YouTube videos on that, I can't think. It's impossible to think. That's when you know you're in it, is when you're not following any technique, your system's just going. And you can just completely let go. That's my favorite. So after that, I come inside and I start my coffee. So I use Purity Coffee. We have this in our Synergize store, which, by the way, we just launched. Jarveen and I are super excited about. It's all of our recommended products. So I'll post the link to that below. And this coffee is lab tested, like beyond. It's incredible. And if you don't drink coffee, cool. Use it for coffee enemas. Big fan of coffee enemas. Super powerful, especially for this protocol. Because guess what? When you eat, it's the pancreas that regulates your blood sugar via insulin, that hormone. And then when you're fasted, IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, is what balances your blood sugar. And that outnumbers insulin 100 to 1. There's 100 times more IGF-1 than there is insulin. So all these people that are fat, that are overweight, they're eating too much. Because when you eat, your body says store fat. I don't care if it's bone broth. I don't care if it's lemon juice. I don't care if it's apple cider vinegar. Black coffee, by the way, doesn't do it. There's all the misconceptions. But if you start your day with apple cider vinegar, you start it with lemon water, you just started this process, you kicked your system out of fasting, you shut down your window. You reset. So the liver is key. And I was into wine for a little bit. I was actually doing Instagram lives with Dry Farm wines. I don't think I'll ever drink again. Cannabis, tobacco, these are multiple times healthier, depending on ingestion too. and frequency and respect. Alcohol, gnarly. And there's a lot of, spirituality involved with ingesting alcohol. It's gnarly. It changes people. So does tobacco and cannabis, but in a different way. And there's how it's grown. There's so many details. What I'm getting at here is that the liver is key. That each liver cell has 200,000 insulin receptors on it. And insulin-like growth factor is created from HGH. So this whole protocol is designed so that when you're fasting, like right now I don't look too big. By the end of the day, I'm going to look like the Hulk. That's because my human growth hormone, which, Stallone, Lou Ferrigno, synchronistic, the Hulk, they inject, right? And you can inject HGH and it works. I have a whole book on it. It's probably my top 5 favorite books. You don't have to inject it. And in fact, injecting exogenous hormones is not the best thing ever for longevity, because we don't know what's going to happen long term. You become reliant on them. So your brain can make it, and your brain can make growth hormone, and it does in the pituitary gland, and it does in the anterior pituitary gland. You have an anterior and a posterior. The anterior makes 8 hormones. The back makes 2. The front 8 hormones are released with light, with blue light from the sun and the rising. And guess what? The photoreceptors in your eye need DHA to capture that light. DHA takes that light, grabs the electricity off of it, sends that down the optic nerve, down what's called the central retinal pathway, to the hypothalamus gland. The hypothalamus gland has a part of it called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN. That's the master timekeeper of the system. It's the clock. And that sets the clock with light. I don't care. I get the question a lot, Matt, when do I sun gaze? When you wake up. Don't stare at your phone first thing. Go outside. If you look at your phone first thing, you just threw off your hormones for the rest of the day. No wonder you got Lyme disease. No wonder you got depression. No wonder you got fatigue. You're throwing off your circadian rhythm by putting on football or whatever, the TV, and watching that, checking your Facebook or Instagram. Get outside and get that light in your eyes. That turns on your hypothalamus. It releases all 8 hormones from your pituitary. The light then goes to your pineal gland and sets you up for proper melatonin production at night. Melatonin starts in the eye, ocular, and at night after darkness, if you're blocking blue light, you make it in your brain. It's not just the sleep hormone. Melatonin is anti-cancer, it's anti-aging. Melatonin improves mitochondrial function. Look up the studies on melatonin. It's intense. Melatonin is incredible. It's necessary. So, back to the liver. If you have a history of alcoholism, if you ever drink alcohol, coffee enemas are key. Once a week has worked for me. And if you don't know how to do an enema, just search Marcus with a K, US, Rothkran's enema. It's a 5-minute animation on how to do it. And yes, warm. Yeah, be sure to dilute it and put your finger in there and make sure. I need to update my enema. I'll make an updated enema video. No, it will not be a live stream. So coffee, it's not what they tell you. It's not as bad as you hear in the alternative health community. Caffeine can be extremely beneficial, especially with this lifestyle. If you ask me what's more harmful, green juice or black coffee first thing in the rising, I'm going to say for longevity, green juice is worse for you. Coffee, you have a lot of stuff. Chlorogenic acid, look into palmitic acid, look into caffeic acid, look into the polyphenols effect on the mitochondria and the gut microbiome. And again, don't abuse it. Don't drink 10 cups a day. A lot of this is context. A lot of it is experimentation. But what I find is a lot of it is that HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis. It's not just the adrenal glands. I have adrenal fatigue. Look into just YouTube, the myth of adrenal fatigue. You don't have adrenal fatigue. Your hypothalamus is burnt out because you're burnt out on blue light. Your pituitary is burnt out because you can't even capture the light because you're DHA deficient, because the artificial light depletes DHA in the eye. Guess what also depletes DHA? Alcohol. So, you know, alcoholics have it the worst. That's why they have a pooch, because they don't have any growth hormone. They don't have IGF-1. They're pre-diabetic because their liver is not functioning, which has over 500 functions. It's all about the liver health. If you're going to drink, make it very sparingly and only do super clean wine. Do not do it consistently. Alcohol is the worst thing ever for our system. They're healthier mind-altering substances. And what you'll find is that the more you do this lifestyle, you're high all the time. You actually crave these things less. So your brain works better. I feel like I'm tripping all the time, and that's just how you feel when your brain works. It's really fun. So coffee, fresh grind, going through my day real quick. And I brew it in a French press. So I just pour the grinds in here, up to here, and steep it for 5-10 minutes. Usually 5 is ideal. I'll hand strain it into actually these, like a porcelain mug. And, oh, and I didn't mention, in there I'll add vanilla, omica stevia, monk fruit, lion's mane, reishi from on our website, Real Mushrooms. Lion's mane with this protocol, talk about being high. Lion's mane actually contains nerve growth factor, NGF, which then increases, it starts a process called remyelinization. Myelin is what coats our nerve sheaths, and that's what gets burnt from eating seafood, mercury, non-native EMF. Think of it as the plastic insulator on an electrical wiring, and that's all throughout our brain. What does docosahexaenoic acid do? It fuels the oligodendrocytes, and oligodendrocytes are what actually lay down new myelin. So you stack Symbiotica with lion's mane. I put Shilajit in the coffee. It's intense. And then you go and you exercise. You don't just drink this and sit on the couch. You go for a walk. You jump on the rebounder. I do my vibration plate. And that's when all this stuff does its magic. And the key with the exercise part of this lifestyle is that we want to burn through our stored sugar. So this is a really important understanding with the Almond Raw protocol, and something that I nerd out on quite a bit just to meditate on this. Your body's not dumb. The spacesuit is hyper intelligent. So when we eat food, it stores it, right? It doesn't just use it. So carbohydrates, for example, you eat beans and rice, that stored energy is called glycogen, stored sugar. And that glycogen is stored in the liver and in the skeletal muscle. And when you're not eating, like when you go to sleep and you're fasting for 8 hours, then your system actually starts to use that stored fuel as glycogen and slowly releases that into your system. It burns it. Right, because there's certain cells in our brain that require glucose, and there's ketones. There's 2 different fuels. Ketones are cleaner burning fuels, and that's a big thing right now is ketosis. High fat, low carb diet puts your body in a state of ketogenic diets, and that's in MCT oil. There's the whole bulletproof thing. Bulletproof coffee with MCT oil and butter or ghee, which I did for a while, that is not this. Remember, any amount of calories, carbohydrates, proteins, or fats are going to kick your body out of the fasted state. So if this is too extreme for you, if you just want to do a mild state of fasting, then yeah, high fat is better than eating carbohydrates all day. But if you want to go all the way, then you actually do less than 10 calories at one time. Like each scoop of those mushrooms is like 5 calories. Not going to make a big difference. There are some extremists like Dr. Rhonda Patrick that says that anything that starts metabolic processes, because there's amino acids in coffee. From my experience, my research, almond raw's material, coffee is not going to break it. It's really when you know, if you were to take branched chain amino acids, if you're going to supplement 5 grams of amino acids, and there's specifics though. Creatine, carnosine, and carnitine do not break you out of the fasted state. So there are little caveats. There's so much to learn. I would just recommend that you really dive into almond raw's material to get the details. I make a midday shake that contains carnosine, carnitine, which carnitine, again, synergy, actually, there's a process called gluconeogenesis. Your system will activate all these systems to actually liberate energy while you're fasted. Carnitine will actually take the fatty acids that are liberated from your fat cells that are released into your bloodstream. If you have carnitine, it'll actually push that into the cells and you use them as fuel. So again, there's all these little intelligent mechanisms, and by plugging in these certain nutrients that we're often deficient in, we could really, really rev up and amplify this fasting protocol. It's pretty cool. I'll also do Omica turmeric powder in there. I'll do resveratrol in there. What else? I'll do stevia in there. Oh, niacin-bound chromium. That's really a key. Google niacin-bound chromium African-American women. And really it's about amplifying that fat burning, that lipophagy, which is a form of autophagy. So in the umbrella, you have autophagy, which is basically self-eating. And then under it, you have lipophagy, which is actually fat burning. Your system is literally eating your fat and turning that into energy. So one pound of fat contains 3,500 calories. Pretty interesting. So someone that's obese, someone that's overweight, they can just not eat for months and they would be absolutely fine. The key is getting the nutrition in, which is what all this is about. Pretty cool stuff. So this is niacin-bound chromium. Niacin is vitamin B3 bound to a mineral called chromium. And I put in 400 milligrams into that. I just break the capsules in because this is gelatin capsules. I'm looking for a better source. Little bird. What else? I want to show you guys this other stuff. Magnesium L-threonate, that's been huge too. I'll share more and more so this video isn't 5 hours long. Magnesium L-threonate with the morning elixir is huge. It's magnesium bound to the amino acid threonate, and that passes the blood-brain barrier. Very powerful nootropic brain booster. So that's pretty much it. Just finishing up on my day. I'll do that midday elixir. I'll drink teas all day, green tea. You know, I'll have fun with the teas. You do caffeinated, you can do non-caffeinated, whatever works for you. And then at night, I'll do the elixir as I showed you, halfway with soy milk, or my favorite is unsweetened flax milk. I'll put this amount of the amino elixir in there. I will break 4 multiminerals in there, which are amino acid bound again. And then I'll eat my meal. And usually it's beans, actually. These are white kidney beans called cannellini beans, which have a strong effect on balancing blood sugar. And these are black beans. And I soak them in fulvic acid, and then I'll cook them on the stove for 2-3 hours. You could also use a pressure cooker. And beans and rice. This doesn't have to be expensive. When you're eating for 1 hour a day, I get this question a lot, and how do you afford it? Well, add up how much it would cost for your meals, going out to eat, and then add up how much it would cost to make this. It's actually a pretty affordable lifestyle. Beans and rice are, you know, super affordable. So that's pretty much it. That's my day, and then I end the day with a meditation. And oh, here's the other key. Dr. Cowan's powders. Wow. So I pretty much have his whole line. These are dehydrated vegetables in Myron glass. The multivitamin, multimineral make it so that it doesn't really matter what you eat. I know that sounds crazy, but really doesn't. But to make sure that you're getting enough potassium, which is something easy to get depleted with during this lifestyle, Dr. Cowan's powders, the greens, are really high in potassium. And if it's inorganic, Shilajit. Shilajit, just think of that as the ultimate mineral balancer. So I don't trip about, oh, I'm going to get toxic in this or that mineral. Shilajit, consuming magnesium bicarbonate regularly, magnesium foot baths, which I have a video on. You're always balancing all the time. That's the key. These are essentially biodynamic. It's a farm in Northern California. I know the people. They're incredible. This is on the Synergized website. They have a lot of awesome stuff. My favorite from them is the wild ramp powder, which is a weed. And I also do sprouted bread with royal jelly. And this is wild black sesame butter. This is from the company Shen Blossom. We have that on Synergized as well with a coupon for you. So just play with it, play with some of these things. I got a question on wild rice. Which wild rice do I use? This is, again, these aren't just companies we Google and find. You know, some of these, you know, I don't know the owners, obviously, because there's so many companies. But what we have on the Synergized website, Shervine and I have personally vetted. We know the owners personally. This is my friend Ben's company, and this is Wild Food Warehouse. Wildfoodwarehouse.com. This is truly wild rice. The stuff you buy at the health food store is not wild rice. It's actually grown like a farm. This is wild and wood parched, hand harvested, super powerful stuff. And this has a ton of amino acids in it too. So beans and rice, you're getting even more aminos. The amino acids are really key, but you don't want to be consuming protein and amino acids all the time. Just remember, whenever you consume aminos, you are switching on these switches, and you don't want those switches on all the time if you want to live a long time. It's all about the timing. That's what I'm finding. So that is it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Supplementation. I do all my supplementation in that window. So I will actually megadose Symbiotica DHA. I'll do 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams. And we often get the question, can you take this while fasted? Sure. I just wouldn't take more than this at one time. If you're exercising a lot, you know, you're really going for it, okay, this is fine. And that's the big thing I want to emphasize. If you're super active, 5-10 calories are not going to make a difference. Just a full dropper, 2 of these is 9 calories. So just keep that in mind. Fats, 9 calories per gram. 2 dropperfuls is a gram. If, you know, remember, this builds in your system just like astaxanthin. So take it during your eating window. What else do I take? HCl. This is extremely beneficial with your evening meal. These are my favorite enzymes on the planet. Pyridine. These are on the Health Ranger store. Again, the link is in our Synergized website. We're trying to make it easier for you guys and just bring everything together. You can break these capsules in your elixirs. That's super next level. What else? I'll kind of cycle supplements. Sometimes I'll take some milk thistle with my my coffee. Sulforaphane, that's very powerful in the midday elixir. What else? I'll take Omika's CBD capsules with my night elixir and their tincture. I tend to megadose CBD at night. I find that works really well for me. True Niagen, nicotinamide riboside, which is the precursor to NAD. I'll take this throughout the day and I'll just break it because it's water soluble. I'll break it in my elixirs. What else? Quicksilver. I'm not an affiliate for these guys, but clay and charcoal. That's excellent to take on an empty stomach during this fast, and it just super cleans up your system to take charcoal and clay. Again, remember that minerals will not break the fast. So if you want to do that, That's great. And vitamin C, that's really key. If you find yourself hitting a wall in energy, a lot of it could be vitamin C. So I like cold steeped hibiscus tea. It's one of my favorite teas. And that's full of vitamin C. Remember that vitamin C is heat sensitive. So do some teas that are high in that, and that will help to make this easier. And I find that exercising is essential. If I do not exercise, this does not work. When I combine this with exercising and staying hydrated and staying mineralized, whew, I'm on fire. Feel really, really, really good. Believe that's it. Yeah, as far as what to eat at night, I would not recommend 100% raw. You could do it 100% vegan, absolutely. Just do not do 100% raw. Do dense foods if you want to sustain this. If you try to break your fast with a huge salad, you're going to get full super fast. And if you do this for a week or two, that's as long as you'll last, because you're not going to be satiated. So you want to get the calories in. And intermittent fasting is one aspect of this protocol. Caloric restriction is the other. And that's one that I'm still meditating on, experimenting with. Caloric restriction has been shown to enhance lifespan significantly. So when you restrict your calories by 30%, that actually extends lifespan by 30%. This has been with many different organisms, worms, rats, yeast. Personally, I found that if I am eating in a 1 hour window, I can only eat so much. So you can use Chronometer, which is an app you can get on your phone, and you punch in the foods. That's super heady, it takes a lot of work, and that'll actually add up all your calories where you could super dial it. As you fast, and if you're only eating 1 hour, your stomach will literally shrink. I get full very fast. So last night I had some pasta. I was done in like 30 minutes, and HCl and enzymes helped, but I was really full. My favorite meal, and I think it's the healthiest, is beans and beans. If I just do beans, I'll do this and some soy, some tempeh, or beans, rice, and soy. That's excellent. And I love chocolate. So actually, I'll give a little plug right now to the best chocolate ever. This, again, I know that this is a really close friend of mine, Jonathan, Kind. And this was a limited run with actually with this batch. This is his, here's my favorite one. Okay. Anyway, strawberry coconut butter chocolate. So it's sugar-free, incredible. Like, they're amazing. So we have a coupon code at Symbiotica for that, Kind, if you've been looking for amazing chocolate. Again, make it enjoyable, make it fun. I've never been a dessert guy, but with this, it's like, I look forward to it every day. And the food tastes better when you have a shorter eating window. Life's more enjoyable. You actually start to find enjoyment in other things besides food. Look at how everything is centered around food. When we're bored, we eat. When we're with other people, friends, where do you want to go to eat? That was me for years. It's not we're hungry. We're not hungry. We're just looking to fill the time. Let's fill the time with hiking. Let's go to a tea house. Let's, have a good conversation. You don't need to eat all the time. And that actually slows down regeneration of the spacesuit, clogs it up. The more we eat, the worse our health, especially now in these times with NPK, inorganic minerals. The nitrogen cycle's off. The plants can't attach a negatively charged carbon to a rock and make it organic. So we have the solutions. This is one of the most powerful ones. It's not for everybody. I'm going to emphasize that over and over again. Take it slow. Just shorten your eating window if you can. De-stress. Meditate, meditate, meditate. That's really key. Get on a meditation practice. How does the plant survive then? Well, the plant survives with pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, larvicides. Why do they have to spray it so much? Organic. Organic, they still use as many chemicals, they just call it organic pesticides. Look it up. Who owns the USDA? Look it up. organic schmorganic. Like, yes, grow your own. That's the next level I do. I have a little balcony garden going. I'm actually growing tobacco and lettuce, and I water it in Shilajit in filtered water. So we do the best we can, of course. But non-native EMFs, I don't know if you know this, they disrupt calcium ion channels in our spacesuit. And non-native EMFs disrupt calcium ion channels in the plants too. Another red pill. How do plants germinate? With calcium. Another reason why they have to use chemicals. Or again, organic, schmorganic. It's just a word. Now it's marketing. So health is not about food. It really comes down to this. What heals us more? Fasting or food? It's fasting. It's always been that way. It always will be. And now that is amplified more than ever. So research intermittent fasting. I would recommend looking into David Fung's work on YouTube, Thomas DeLauer, and these are excellent teachers on intermittent fasting. It goes deep. I'm doing my best to distill all the information for you guys. It goes on and on. Fasting is key, but staying strong during it. Dry fasting is not good because we're dehydrating with every breath. So there's excess. So, okay, even if it's not raining, acids are falling through dry deposition in areas that are dry. So you're getting sulfuric and nitric acid in the air, and you breathe that in, and you need bicarbonate, which is the most alkaline ion, most alkaline substance, to neutralize those acids. So that if you go back to how to drink the best drinking water, that YouTube video, my drinking water routine, bicarbonate, hydration. I'm sipping fluids all day long. I don't think dry fasting makes sense. Maybe very, very short term, but not long term for sure. We're dehydrated, and we're drinking the wrong water. That's really the key. We're not drinking water that's vortex, that's been cooled, that's been put in Myron glass in the sun, that didn't come right out of a filter, but actually was infused with minerals. It could be fulvic, it could be bicarbonate, and let to sit for 6-8 hours. We're not doing that. And then the spring water we're drinking is full of rocks because it's hard water, which causes leukocytosis, increased white blood cell count, and an immune response. So I gotta run. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Look forward to more videos. Shervine and I will be sharing a lot more at the sanctuary, and we'll have a Symbiotica channel. So a lot of exciting things in the works. And yeah, if you can't tell, I'm like a child with all this stuff. The more I learn, the more just in awe I am. This spacesuit is so smart. There is an intelligent design here. Our potential is way more than we've been told. We can keep reaching higher and higher levels of mental clarity, energy, strength. As Wim Hof says, strong, happy, healthy. Let's do it. There's an agenda to actually stomp out the warriors here right now. So let's become warriors. Let's become superheroes. Let's become unstoppable. Let's get this message to the masses. Reconnecting with nature. Actually being committed to constantly diving deeper. And all of this does go hand in hand. As you go on this journey, you'll find emotions coming up, especially during the meditations. This sense of stillness, this sense of peace. That's where solutions come from. But we need this thing to work. It's not just this. It's this, and this, and this. Showering in tap water, this is off. You know, not amino acid deficient, DHA deficient, this and this are off, actually. The heart needs aminos. It needs DHA. It needs magnesium. 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 Magnesium is needed to digest carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. DHA is needed for electron chain transport. Goes on and on. So much love to you all. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. Thank you so much for committing to the work, doing the work. If you're not connected with me on Instagram, Matt Blackburn on there. And that's where I'm mostly posting from now on. I'll probably be doing more of these lives because it's so much easier to post to YouTube, so I don't have to edit the video. There's more there's more all of that and pauses, but whatever, at least I get the videos up. So much love, let's keep going. Let's fully activate our spacesuits. If I could figure out how to end this. Talk to you guys soon.